Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Car Addict. So, you just got home with your new, or new to you, 10th generation Civic. So, what should you do with it? I'm going to run through the first 3 things that you should do to your Civic. Obviously, everybody won't want to do these 3 things, but if you're those kind of people, you're probably not watching my video anyways. So I would, number 1, and I say this number 1 not because it's the best, but because it's absolutely free and takes maybe 15 minutes. Literally putting the car on jack stands takes longer than the mod. Get a 14mm wrench, get the car in the air, get rid of that left muffler. Give it a listen for a minute and see if you can hear it. It's pretty mild in the car still, but it's definitely, it has a presence outside of the car. Number 2, this is the most expensive of the 3, but it is the best. Tune the car. So the best thing about pretty much any turbocharged vehicles, like a factory one, is how much you can unlock in tuning, because rarely does a forced induction vehicle come from the factory like right at its peak potential with the parts it has. So putting the tuner on unlocks a lot of power. And now I have the V2, and so check this out. Alright, so I got the V2 here, and you can go in and change the layout to everything. RPM, manifold pressure, throttle position, ignition, air, fuel, battery, cam positions, knock counts, wastegate position, turbocharger pressure, fuel trims. I mean, there's everything. There's a lot of stuff. But I kind of think of it like this. So in this car now, I have heated seats, heated mirrors, moonroof, comfort access, all that stuff. Before I ever had it, I never missed it. I never got in my car like, oh, I wish I didn't have to grab my key. Now, though, that I have it, when I go to the CRV, I don't even wish I had it. It would be nice, but I just grab the handle and like thinking it's going to unlock for me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this car doesn't have it. The heated seats are one of the things where you get into a car without it and like, oh, man, it'd be nice to have a heated seat right now. But before you have it, you don't miss it. It's just once you've had it. Because now I do look for my V2 when I don't bring it, and I'm like, oh, I forgot that thing, dang it. But before I ever had one, hold on, sweetheart, before I ever had one, I never thought, oh, I wish I could see everything up there. So, for the best bang for the buck, I would just get the K-Tuner V1.2, I think it is now. I think it's just it has Bluetooth or something, I don't know, but there's a 1.2. I think it's still $450 though. And just run the included stage 2 tune. Because most likely, most people just want to make the car a little more fun to drive. They don't plan on going crazy. And stage 2 tune on my car with just a cold air intake actually put down almost 220 horsepower and 265 foot-pounds to the ground. Makes the car a completely different animal, so much more fun to drive, and you can do that for $450 because the tune is included with the unit. You will have to data log with your laptop instead of on the V1 itself, because the V2 does it on board. But if you're only flashing the included map and then just setting it and forgetting it, basically, you might as well just do one data log, make sure everything looks okay. And if you don't know how to read it, just share it online. You will find somebody who will look it over and tell you, yes, everything's going good, or no, it's not. And then you'll never have to look at it again. The third thing is highly controversial, but I would say get an intake, and not because of power. Yes, they've been proven to make a little power. People argue that they don't. People argue that they make a ton. But even when they've been proved to, who cares that much about 4 horsepower from $5,000 to $6,500? If it was $1, $20, awesome. But for $300 or more to get no power up to $5,000 and then 4 horsepower, who cares? But like I was saying, the tuner is the first nicest thing about having a turbocharged vehicle. What's the second? Winner, chicken dinner. It is the sound. And from the factory, you don't get the sound from this car. If you vent to atmosphere, you're causing rich conditions that you don't really want. So one of the ways to get the sound is throw on an intake. And the intake I'm running in my car now is a custom deal I made. It's twice as big as one you can buy off the shelf. So instead of having you listen to it right now, I'm going to throw in a couple clips from recordings I've already taken of the intake you can just buy off the shelf. And this is the $160 AF Dynamic. So do that, take off that resonator box under the airbox, which you do not need to pull the bumper. Don't let anybody tell you do, because there's still a rumor out there that you have to. It's starting to get squashed finally, but there's still people that think you got to pull the bumper. You pull back the fender liner a little bit, and you get in there from that access point, and then there is 2 bolts that hold the bracket. I think the 2 bolts hold the bracket to the box, 1 bolt holds the bracket to the car. It might be 2 to the car, 1 to the box, I don't remember. But the way you get the top of the airbox off, there is 4 bolts, I believe, that you can see when you're looking down from the top of the box. You unbolt them, and it's gonna feel bad, like you don't really want to do it, but you literally just rip the box off the resonator. One goes in a grommet, and then one just snaps in, so it'll pop right out. Alright, so there you go. I mean, for after tax and everything, you could be looking at about $800. Not even $600. And you got Civic putting down 220 horsepower, 260 foot-pounds, and you got all the sounds of the turbo. You got a pretty good exhaust note, and that would be a perfectly fine daily Civic that's just got a little bit of personal touch and a lot more fun. A couple exterior things that I think should be done. LED headlights, because it has the LED running light deal in the corner of the headlight, and it just kind of looks stupid to me with yellowish halogen headlights next to those LEDs. So I swapped my entire front end to LEDs, and check out how this looks. It's just so much better. Basically, there's more stuff, obviously, that you could do that's cheap, but then it's not very easy, like the Civic Type R rear sway bar or the shifter base bushings and stuff like that. They don't cost a lot, but there's a more detailed install to them. I got a catless downpipe on mine. Yeah, I mean, one, then you're affecting your ability to pass emissions. 2, you do definitely have gains though, because you can push it a lot further without that restriction of the cat. But then again, if you don't plan on making big power later, do you really want to go to the trouble of swapping the downpipe and spending the $300? That's a personal decision you got to make. However, if you're the kind of person that just listened to me and did the tuner and the intake and the muffler delete, 99% guarantee because you'll downpipe at some point in time, and then you'll do something else, and then you'll do something else. It never stops. I've spent so much money and so many countless hours modifying cars just to sell them later, buy another car, and do it all over again. I just can't leave things alone. I know people that have self-control when it comes to modding, and they can stop themselves. The only thing that can stop me is the lack of money. So, anyways, hopefully that gives you some ideas on what to do with your new car. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. You can check out the rest of my Civic build as it progresses over time. And I'll talk to you guys later. All right, thanks.